few weeks ago, I climbed aboard an incredible machine. In fact, it's my favourite technical project at the moment, Gitana 18. It's an amazing boat, not just for its size, which at 32 metres long and 23 metres wide still takes my breath away every time I get close to an Ultime try, but for what this machine represents when it comes to taking advanced technology onto the next level. Now, I will cut straight to the chase. I am very excited indeed. No, really, I am. One, we're in Lorient, the heart of the modern offshore world, where we are surrounded by some of the most extraordinary offshore machines. But the second reason, and possibly the biggest one, is look at it. It's here, Gitana 18. You'll probably know we've run a couple of features about this amazing project. It's very early days, but we ran features on the concept and then the launch and the early trials. And I've come down to have a look at her, and she is absolutely stunning. Now, you might expect me to say that of a new boat, but she really is very different. And one of the things that strikes you straight away when you look at this boat is not just the size, which is impressive in itself, but look at how smooth and clean it is. The aero side of it, the way they've reduced the drag throughout the boat is fascinating. It really is super sleek. But if you move further this way, we come back down to the beams. And one of the things that strikes you when you look at the beams is how complex the shapes are. And you have to come down to this bit down here, and it's probably a little bit difficult to see from here, but if you look at the leading, I don't know if you'll be able to see it from that angle, but if you're looking at the leading edge of that beam, it's like an aeroplane wing. And that's no accident, because these machines, they're cruising along at 30 knots a lot of the time. They might have 30 or 40 knots over the deck. That is actually quite a lot of lift, physical lift, to get the boat out of the water. Now, this is not a new thing. Designers and teams have known about this for some time, but this is the most sophisticated crossbeam I've seen from that point of view. One of the things that will be very difficult to see from this angle, you might not be able to see it at all, to be honest, but one of the things that they've done is that they've changed the angle of attack of the, or the amount of lift that's created on the beams, and they've concentrated on creating lift towards the centre of the boat. And so they've actually reduced, flared it out, if you like, here, with a complex shape here. That doesn't produce much lift. It's quite difficult to produce physical lift from a beam that's actually curved as well. So they said, okay, what we'll do at this end is we'll reduce it out, so we reduce the drag. Let's just concentrate on reducing drag and not worry about the lift. They've concentrated the lift all the way into the middle. So that's particularly interesting as well. I know this is a bit nerdy, but it's fascinating. Sensing that I was starting to get carried away and that he could be stuck there listening to me for some time, my cameraman said it was time to talk to someone else. So we did. Charles Caudrelier is the skipper of Gitana 18. He's a story in himself as one of the most accomplished and decorated offshore sailors. But unlike some of the hired guns who turn up to step aboard and sail, Charles has been closely involved in every detail of this boat's design. So getting to talk to him face to face on board the boat after he'd just returned from sailing trials was a great opportunity to find out more about this amazing project. It's actually the first of two conversations, because I also spoke to Sébastien Saison, who is Gitana's design office director, about where the project is right now and how they're working towards getting the beast to fly. And to make it even more special, I got to go where few have been allowed as yet, inside and below decks. And it's fascinating, because this boat is just as innovative on the inside as she is on the outside. You could almost say that they've been thinking inside the box as well as outside. Maybe we'll cut that bit. It's a bit cheesy, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Anyway, they're keeping a fair bit of it secret, and I can see why, but we'll tell you what we can very shortly. In the meantime, here's my chat with Charles Caudrelier. Charles, I mean, I'm seeing it for the first time. It's unbelievable. I mean, no wonder you're smiling. Does it feel a lot different to 17? I mean, it looks a lot different.
Well, not really. It's the same size, so we are used to this size. but many things are different, especially all the appendage, the system. We have very special rudder, have you seen, and lots of system. You know that the keel can move, counting keel, also the counting dagger, counting foil. Sorry.
Yeah.
And so we have to test all the system. For the moment, we don't have the foil, so we don't have the feeling about foiling this boat. But we need to test everything. The mast also is very special because we have the spreader. The spreader can move. We can bend the mast as much as we want. So all of this is very different. All the electronic system is made by Gitana team, so we have to test it. It's the first time.
Right.
So we don't have the foils. Sure, it's a bit of frustration, but we have so many to do. Because this boat is really much more complicated in terms of system and all the system we have to trim that we can trim. So we need to take our time and be patient for the foils.
It's been fascinating to follow the progress of this boat. We followed you in the reveal, we followed you in the launch, we've followed all the technical details. It's been absolutely fascinating. How much since we last saw you? So we followed you up until the boat was launched. How many days have you done sailing now?
Only 10, I think.
Right.
So usually we sail 1 day per week, so it's not a lot because we have so much. Also because we don't have the foil, so we want to work on all the system before the foils arrive to be completely ready when the foils will be there. So so we have only sailed, I think, 10 days.
Right.
Not a lot.
But I guess there's a load of, what we understood from you describing it and others in the team describing it is, and as you said there, it's a hugely complicated boat, very complex boat, 40 hydraulic cylinders and everything else. There must be loads of calibration to do, and that takes time, doesn't it?
It takes time. Also, all this hydraulic has a lot of power, so you can make big mistakes. So we need to think about all the alarm, all the way to use and be safe and do it very carefully because we can damage everything. So we need to learn about that. We need to develop all the electronic system to control the hydraulics. And when we go for 1 day of sailing, we have a wish list about the tests we have to do. When we come back, we have a big job list.
Really?
The job list increase. So it's really complicated, but we like it, we enjoy it, we know it. We know it's not as simple as Gitana 17 was, but I think the team is ready to do it.
Yeah, and it must feel like actually I was going to say, what kind of wind range have you had so far in your...
We don't go outside over 25 knots of wind, so we have tests with 25, but without foil it's not the same boat. It's much more safe with foils, so you have to be very careful because the balance of the boat is designed with foils, and so the balance is not good without foils. So we have to be very careful when we sail without the foils in strong wind. So we don't push. We probably reach 1 day 30 knots, but it's the first time I sail on this kind of boat without foils.
Right.
And you realize,
really,
you realize that the foil, it's quite interesting actually because we understand many things, but you realize that foils is a super turbo, and without it, you going over 30 knots, it's really complicated.
It's fascinating to hear that because sort of logic would probably tell most people that actually we think of foiling as quite a precarious, quite a risky thing, but I've heard you and others say this about foiling boats, that when it's on the floor, these boats are much, much more stable, much safer.
Yeah, for sure. Faster you go, more the foils push, so it gives you safety. For noise diving, for example.
Yeah.
You know, when we were sailing on multi-hull, when we have to furl a sail, we have to bear away sometimes from upwind to downwind, and we don't like the 90 degrees, which is what most of the time the angle where we capsize. And with foils you have no problem because when you bear away you accelerate, so the foils push more and the boat go up and you are safe. So foils are really safe. And also the tear rudder, if you go noise diving, the tear rudder will pull the bow up. So that was my first feeling when I started sailing on 17. I said, well, I had already lots of experience of multi-hull, and I was scared to sail on multi-hull.
Right.
You know, each time you go on your watch, you say, okay, my goal is not to capsize because you can't capsize anymore, and we feel much more safe on this kind of boat. Also, the system, the pilots, all the system we have to ease the sails in case of overheal makes the boat safer.
Yeah.
You can capsize for sure, so you don't have to forget that. But
yeah, no, it's fascinating. I remember sailing 17 with your predecessor, Seb, and Seb Joss, and we're sailing him, and he put me on the helm, and it was quite gusty and squally. I'm not a multi-hull sailor, and I was saying to him, we're going quicker and quicker. I said, what do we do if I get a big gust? Just tell me, do I go up, do I go down? He goes, you don't do anything, just keep going straight. The boat will sort it out, and it's a different mindset.
Yeah, completely. I'm still scared to sail on
Really?
a small multi-hull when it's windy, you know. But this kind of boat, we have a gain of performance, but also of safety.
Yeah.
I often compare it to car with good brakes, good amortisseur,
suspension,
good tire, suspension. So suspension is the same.
Yeah. How much has it changed? Are you sailing this in the same way? I'm sure there are trade secrets and things you don't want to tell your competitors yet, but I mean, broadly speaking, the way that you handle the boat hasn't changed, has it? Or
I think it will change a lot, especially with the foils, because the foils doesn't work in the same way. Just, for example, the tip of the foils, your tip of the foil push you upwind,
Yes.
whereas the other one were pushing. So you have less leeway, so the boat will be probably a bit more nervous, because usually when you take a gust with the other boat, you have more leeway, but this boat will sail with less leeway. So we can imagine that when a gust comes, it will be more nervous than another boat.
right?
So we have seen it on the simulator. We know we are safe, but on the other kind of foil, leeway reduce the power of the foils. In this case, we will increase the power of the foil. So it's going to make a small difference, and we are going to see.
Yeah. The other big change whilst talking about foils is obviously the rudders. I mean,
yes,
a superb piece of design work. I mean, very interesting, very clever. With just having a moving part on the back, how much does that, can you feel the difference? I mean, I would imagine when you're going quickly, it's fine, but I would imagine the slow speed maneuverability must feel a bit tricky.
No, it's okay, because you have to imagine that you have two rudders.
Oh, okay.
So two flaps, and in terms of it's okay. But the only thing is you have to they don't like leeway, because when you have leeway, the front part is pushing by the leeway, so so you have to sail straight. But with new foils, we will have really less leeway than the other boat. So
right.
We should be much better upwind.
Right.
So it works pretty well for the moment. We are. The only problem is when we go reverse.
Right. Right.
So for docking, it's not very efficient when you go reverse, and reverse can arrive when you tack sometimes in the states. So we don't like that, and it's the only problem we have for this moment. But we knew it.
Right.
So we have to find a solution. We have some. We have to think about it. We are not discovering while we were sailing. We knew.
Right.
But the main problem is for docking.
Yeah.
So it's much more complicated to maneuver. And,
you just buy another rib, don't you?
Yeah.
Just stick another rib on.
The rib makes a rudder.
The other thing that I wanted to ask you about was that you talked about a fair bit in the previous programs. You talked about the adjustable spreaders and the way that you can change gear, and the way that saves so much power, which is fascinating to hear. Have you had a chance to experiment with that? Is it working as well as you'd expected to?
The mast is a good surprise. Honestly, the first day we were watching the mast, very scary about breaking the mast, what we have to do, not to do. But it works so well that for the moment that we don't really watch, and the gain in terms of performance. We know that the other team now are thinking about it and are designing some new mast like that. So Yes, of course. But we know since probably 100 years that it's better to have a flat sail in strong wind and a power sail in light air. So, and we use backstay for that. But so we did not invent something, but it was a challenge to do it on such a wing mast. I don't think it has already been done, especially with a rudder who can move like that. And you have to imagine that also the mast is counting, so it makes the game much more complicated than a normal mast. And we South Hotspur and ourselves have done a good job, and we are really happy about it for the moment. And we know it's a game changer.
Yeah, no, it sounds really, really clever. And it's on a boat that's full of very clever things. When you go out and do your sailing trials and your testing like today, how many crew do you have on board? How many people do you have on board?
We try to sail with the crew which will be racing with me. So it's 6 people.
Right.
Plus, for the moment, we always have 3 or 4 engineer or technical guy with us. Especially, we always have the guy who is in charge of electronics, Nicolas Greger, because without him, for the moment, we can't use the boat. So we have many buttons to play with all the RAM, all the electronic system. But for the moment, it's in his computer, and we have to work on that. Or we want to manage all the hydraulic, put some safety on the system, So it's a big job. This is a big job, but it's going very well. We never have any problem for the moment. It's very reliable. So that was my concern, because if I have a problem on electronics, I have no rudder.
Right.
Yeah. I have a safety system like I can use without electronics, without energy, I mean. But it was my main concern, and it's already the case in many planes. But in your mind, you say, okay, before my rudder, it was with line, and it was mechanical system. I know I can use it, but the gain in terms of weight, and the gain in terms of precision, and the gain in terms of energy managing the energy, it's much better than the other system. So we are really happy.
I guess it's like fly-by-wire though, isn't it? I mean, we've all got used to fly-by-wire systems in cars and motorbikes and stuff where there isn't a direct connection anymore. And there's a computer in the middle. And it's only scary if you think about it.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, most of the time.
That's what I think. Okay, it's the same on my car. It's the same when I take a plane.
Yeah, exactly. And, Has the most... I wonder whether, whenever I come on board these boats, I'm blown away by the complexity, and that's before I've sort of seen this one, which takes it to another level. But I'm blown away by the complexity, and in particular, how much you, as a skipper or any of the sailors, have to understand about the technology to just understand the settings, how to run things, because it's not logical. Well, it is logical if you're in that world, but how hard is that? Do you feel like with this boat that you're having to learn a lot of stuff? Is that the hardest bit?
Not really, because I already have the experience of Gitana 17. For sure, if I was coming from even the Volvo 60 on this boat, I would be completely lost. But I have the experience of that, and some skippers they wait at home that the boat is ready, or they are not involved in the technique. I spend all my day at the office with a guy, so every system which has been made on boat, I can't design it myself, but I know why they are designed like that, I know how to use it. And all the electronic system, I spoke lots with the guy to say, I want this to work like that.
Right.
So I feel very comfortable, and I have already the experience of Gitana 17, so I'm not a rookie now. But for sure, for someone who comes with no background, the boat is really complicated. But it's okay, and I enjoy that, honestly. I spend my time with a guy, and every day I learn something new, and every day I think about how to manage the boat with this guy, so I know it perfectly. But I spend hours and hours with them.
Yeah, I mean...
And I think to perform, I'm sure it's very important.
Yeah. From one of the criticisms we hear a lot of, I should say observation, but it is a criticism from people who have not even seen one close up, so they're not particularly qualified to make the judgment, but people sort of say, well, but this isn't real sailing, he's pushing buttons, he's inside for a start, he doesn't have to go outside. Do you, I mean, I'm sure you're going to say that's unjustified, because it's not like that, but do you feel with these systems, do you feel less connected to the boat or not? Is it just no different?
No, I know I see that many times, as you say, by people who has no idea what is sailing, and you know, but I think the boat is 32 meters. It's a huge boat with many systems, but I still need my background of dinghy sailor, you know, every day, because you have many things that computer and number cannot explain. Maybe we can fantastically imagine that the AI soon will be better, trimmer and dry, but for the moment it's not the case. And I have a very smart pilot, but it's me who put the input to the pilot. I have very nice sail, very technical. I have huge amount of number to give me some help. But I always use my feeling. It's very important. But you need your feeling, but also the knowledge about how the boat works to understand where to trim the boat, because you have probably 20 or 25 different way of action you can do on the boat to change his behavior. So you need to understand that. But the feeling is still very important.
Yeah.
And when I watch for crew, I'm looking for a guy who has a big background of dinghy or fast boat, because I know they will trim the boat better than anyone. And the guy on the shore, people imagine that sometimes the guy on the shore tell me how to drive the boat. No, they just sometimes tell me, okay, you have an alarm on this, so don't you push probably too much, or you have something to break, so go check. But I don't have advice from the shore to how to trim my boat. I do it myself.
It's a very interesting point you raise, and a great reminder that, you know, your roots are in hands-on boats. And I wonder whether, do you think, because you're still very much in touch with sort of real boats, real sailing, real hands-on sailing, one of the other questions that people have is, well, what's this kind of sailing and this kind of technology ever going to have to do with me? How's it going to influence the boats that I might have in the future? Do you think that there will be technologies and techniques that are learned at this level on these kind of boats that flows back towards sort of mainstream sailing? Whether it's, I don't know, I'm just looking over there at a Class 40, whether it's to a Class 40 or whether it's to another race boat, you know, what kind of technologies and lessons might be learned further downstream?
I think the pilot we are developing could be used on many. You see some boat with foils now for to transport people. You know, you can see that arriving in the north, especially for fast boats. So they have a computer to fly, and our pilot is doing that. He's very smart, and he's done to trim a flying boat and adjust the flap of a flying boat. So you have many things you can use that. We are also working lots about reducing energy, you know, how to have a hydro generator or a wind generator. All the systems are developed by this kind of team. I think the way also to build the appendage today, or the way to work. I remember that we were speaking with some very smart young engineer, and the way before we were building some foils. To build a foil of 100 kilo, for example, we need 300 kilo of carbon, because the way we build it, we have a big loss. I'm not going to explain you why, and these guys are very smart, and they want to build the best foil, but also they are young, they are concerned by the planet, and they want to reduce the cost of, and they imagine a system, they develop a system to build a foil of 100 kilo, they use only 120 kilo. So, and this is about thinking how to do better, faster, but also be concerned about what's going on the planet today. So.
Well, it's a fascinating project. Thanks so much for taking the time to explain it to you. It's just, I'm blown away. It looks gorgeous. What really strikes me is what you've done with reducing the windage. It's so clean and smooth compared to 17. It's super sleek. Yeah.
We could do better, but we are, you know, that we have a rules now since SVR. You remember SVR?
Yeah.
The problem with SVR, the cockpit was.
Yes.
So you can't now, you can't do a cockpit like SVR where you have no vision. You know.
Okay.
So you have a rules. This is the first class to do that, but I think other class should do it. We have a rules for visibility.
Right.
So, yeah. You know, in every cargo ship, you have a very strong rules about visibility.
Yes.
You know, to be. So if you go inside, you will see it, but we have to respect some rules to see from inside when we are.
Okay. How much?
That's why we are not very low.
Okay. Well, that's really interesting. I didn't know. So, how much else has much else changed in the rule for the Ultima class?
No, this is the only rules we have changed actually.
Right.
Is about the visibility and the cockpit.
Right.
So this is the first boat made with these new rules.
Right.
So that's why we have so much windows.
Right.
But I like it because you were speaking about this is not a boat, and sometimes for sure to be inside the cockpit around the planet, you say I start my job. I was watching the sea, and now I'm inside a carbon box. So when you are inside the boat, you have a nice view outside, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, we ran I'm sure you were watching them as well. We were watching Sodebo going round on their Jules Verne record-breaking challenge, and it was fascinating watching them every day, and they're in the cockpit. And at times you had to remind yourself that they were actually sailing, especially at Christmas when they had all the decorations up, and it just looked like someone's study. It didn't look like a boat.
The Muka boat, you are in some of them. You are in a carbon box with no outside view.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Charles.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate that. Can't wait to go sailing. That is a hint.
Yeah, I wait for the foils. Huh?
Yeah.
It will be more interesting.
Yes, okay.
I promise.
Nice one.